Hello, and welcome to another weekly challenge. This is week 22, and this is the number 3 replay at 3 or 38k score. This is my first attempt using Estrella's most recent opener. We'll go over the opener in this, but you can check out the link in the video for the short in which he explains it better. So let's look at it. So the core, if you guys haven't seen the weekly challenge, there are a lot of tribes this week. Um, it's almost jam-packed, the map is. And the key in this week is getting a good early explorer so you can get a lot of embassies. And in order to do that, you have to wait a little bit because just based on the RNG and what the map looks like, here's what the map looks like. Um, if you take the explorer turn 0, you just meet this tribe. You don't meet Aquarian, you don't even meet Illyrian. Actually, no, I think you do. No, I don't remember. But anyway, it's bad. So if we wait a little bit, we get some 5-star meets, and we also get um more tribes because we can go fishing first. We meet every tribe when we on turn 1 that's next to us. We used to play with a warrior here, but for whatever reason, not making the warrior improves the RNG for where the explorer goes. So we make the warrior second. And Shreya figured out that getting Oregon fishing also gets you more 5-star upgrades. So Kiku hits you. In my first playthroughs, Kiku was my enemy, but by killing this Mooney, since it makes war on all 3 of these tribes, by killing that Mooney, we get peace with all 3 of those tribes. And we'll get the early kill on Polaris. So this is still all Astrea's start. So we meet everybody except for 3 tribes, Yadek, Jing, and Aquarian. However, Yad is next to Samati's capital, and Aquarian is next to Illyrian's capital, as we'll see here in a second. See, you can see the damage done here, and I don't know if you can see the damage done there, but yeah, we see these people. So we get 5 embassies this turn, which is crazy good for turn 2. So we get embassies on Samati and Illyrian to get the extra meeting stars to get the 1 extra embassy, and then we send an embassy to all 3 of these tribes. And when we do that, we're able to send peace, and as you can see here, they all have their halo, so they all think that we're great. So we send peace to everybody, including Polaris, because that um improves these um improves these oh, what do you call those things? They're modifiers, keywords, something like that. And that was the end of or I guess at the end of this turn is the end of Astrea's opener. We get an embassy with Imperius, Aquarian, and Yadek because Imo and Cledric die soon. And I should have gone for an embassy with Umaji as well, but I forgot it because, again, this is my first playthrough with the new opener. However, I do eventually send an embassy to Xingji, and I should have sent it instead to Umaji. And I think that would have got me like 1k more score because I would have got at least 1 more monument from Umaji upgrading their capital. So I made a third warrior here. We'll see what this is for in a minute. This 6 HP one chases the Mooney to get meetings, and these two are going towards Polaris. However, I noticed that if I leave my units further away, then Polaris just keeps their battle sled on the city. They can't get another unit, so because they're pop locked. And if they move this, then they're going to get sieged. So they just leave this here, which means that we can set ourselves up for an attack this next turn. You can see I make my 3 units to kill this here, and we'll get rogues the following turn. Jin and Kiku never like each other. And you can see here, they get their upgrade, but they don't move. And so on our next turn here, also knows where the Salming's going. It's over here. And then next turn it moves right here. So we're stacking kills on this one, by the way. And yeah, we siege this and we kill the Mooney. Polaris is completely finished. I sent Peace to Aquarian because we don't need to kill them yet. Right about now is when I had some moment to, or had enough stars to send an embassy to Umaji, and I think I would have successfully got peace with them either this turn or the following turn had I sent an embassy. Actually, I think I get peace with them regardless, but I just forget to send an embassy. Okay, so Badr breaks peace with me. I don't know if that happened this turn. Oops. Yeah, Badr breaks peace with me this turn. I wasn't expecting that, so I wasn't in position to deal with it, although I'm not sure how we could have exactly exploited that this turn anyway. But we get the stuff to deal with that. Yep, so we meet Shinji, however, with this Dumux there, pause so we can actually see. With this Dumux there, they just move this here, hit, and then siege with the Dumux, and kill. I didn't realize that they would actually do that. I thought they would maybe go after Yaddick. So I gave Shinji and MC again an improvement in the future. I think up to this point, except for this, everything was great, except for forgetting to send that embassy. Everything is perfectly fine. This turn, as we'll see, I get markets, and I get a couple of other techs. I could have made a road here, that was another slight improvement, but it doesn't really matter. And then I go market here, warrior, heal, and then we're killing in 2 turns, I believe. So we actually do get peace. Oh, you're right, it's Yannick that shoots Shinji, which again wasn't super foreseeable. Hello, Willow. That's my cat. So now we set up for a siege on turn 8. Yeah, see, we made peace with Umaji because we killed the Sumanti Shaman. So an MC would have been great. Missing out on 4 SPT just by forgetting the MC. We go double park here, and this Mindbender is to ensure the siege on Badr next turn. We have these 5 units, so even if they go like here, we're almost certainly going to get the siege. I think if they go there, it is harder to get the siege, but usually something else will attack them. Okay. So Aquarian is having difficulty killing, which is great here. That's part of the benefit of having peace with Illyrian. However, they can't deal with Dumuxes. And this next turn, after we get the siege on Badr, is the turn that we go for um this is very specific micro, by the way. This is the turn we go for knights after we get siege on Badr. So I guess you already saw it, but here's the challenge to figure out how to do this. You get this hits there. You can move this, kill this with a rider, so you have the surface area again. Then tap this. Well, hit this with the warrior, hit this with the rider. The order doesn't super matter on those. And then I have this bearing warrior that ensures the siege on this, and then this is double guarantee when it rogues onto this tile that the Badr warrior is on right now. And so then we get our knights and break peace with Aquarian because they're just making sharks, and that's a one-hit kill from a knight. Oh, I guess we break peace next turn. That makes more sense, I guess. Yeah, so because we have a Mindbender here, Badr does not get a giant. I think if you don't put this Mindbender here, they would get a giant. I'm not sure. I haven't tested the converse, but generally speaking, they'll pop a giant unless the giant's just going to get converted anyway. So that guarantees us the park, and it gives us the Park of Fortune, which is really nice. Honestly, if you don't get this Park of Fortune, if you give Umaji an embassy, I would do everything exactly the same and then get Umaji the Park of Fortune. Sorry, get Umaji the embassy later. So I just get a bunch of tech. As we can see here, it's turn 9, almost halfway through, and I have most tech. That's partially from all the meme stars, mostly from all the embassies, because embassies are the one of the best ways to get SPT on Fusées, of course, which yeah lets you power through tech early. And then yeah, markets does a little bit. It's not amazing, but it's decent. And then we go market here because why not? And then I just burn one of these to get to the upgrade. And that says taken care of. Yeah. I did a little attack on this. This is just to repress Samati a little bit. They're huge. We get a very successful attack this next turn. So I broke peace with oh no, I break peace this next turn. Right. We have these rafts that we're making. That's to be able to attack any of these three says. 2 rafts is sufficient, and well, alongside the knights. As you can see, I'm mass producing knights essentially. I am making a couple of other units to mix in. And this Mindbender again comes in handy with the siege of this. We break peace here to attack Aquarian. We're doing great. This Faring warrior again is coming in really handy with the siege. It lets us guarantee that siege. We get so originally I thought I was going to somehow road in a knight. I don't know that there's really a way. But I thought I would get like this knight over here and take all this out. But we have these drafts as a guarantee, and as you can see here, we don't have a way to actually get over once they make that Dumux. We don't actually have a way to get over to these cities, so we have to use the rafts, which is great, perfectly fine. We attack the sharks to guarantee this siege. We siege with the defender to guarantee that siege. We kill this with the knight and guarantee the siege with the mindbender. So that way, Duma can't just clear out whichever this is going to. We get this city, which is great. We also get this mycelium, so I really should have attacked that, but I forgot. Little improvement though. This cloak is a little optimistic. I think you can skip it. I eventually use it on this city, which is all right, but I mean, it definitely works out. But you can probably skip it too. So now I'm just missing aquatism. It's turn 12. I'm definitely slowing down my tech purchases. Just missing aquatism, but I want to prioritize my upgrades. So I got as many techs as I could afford, um, while still being able to get some good upgrades and my units that I need. Again, just mostly massing knights. I think I go a Mindbender here. Is that right? Oh no, I just skipped the Mindbender because we're not quite ready to break peace with Kiku. That's something else that I gotta think about too, is have these bots maxed out what they're going to make. They have their Park of Fortune down. They don't get too much else, Kiku here. Getzali keeps getting um temples until almost the end of the game. So you're safe, and they gave you an embassy, so you're perfectly safe to just leave them till almost the end of the game. Kiku isn't giving an embassy, so capturing the city does increase your SPT more than just leaving them. And they don't make um any more monuments or any more temples. Perhaps there's a way to get um Kiku to make their park of, or sorry, gay power. We can see what their kills are at actually. But yeah, they're at 2 out of 10. Yeah, they're not going to get killer. Yeah. Besides this, it's pretty straightforward attacking. I maximize my markets as well. This 2 out of 3 kill Dumux is honestly a bit of a godsend. Yeah. Yeah, we go markets here. We go for a nice little market complex on Cook's Capital in this old village. And we get some nice temples on Imperius Capital. We use Mindbenders to deal with defenders, of course. Those are great. We see that Yadek is starting to mass defenders, so we get some anticipatory Mindbenders for when we're going to break peace with them again. Having an embassy with Umaji would have been great. We already have peace with them, so plus 4 SPT for both of us would have been just fine. Yeah, yeah. Can see I use this as part of the micro to capture the city. Mycelium are great, but we destroy this one to get another good market. Yeah, I get up to almost 170 SPT in this game. Well, actually, I get over 170 SPT, mostly through markets. And, I'm not making any giants, of course. This, I miss that it's not connected, so that's a slight improvement there. We break peace with Kiku once we have 4 Mindbenders to deal with all the um defenders. They get to giant, which is mediocre, so we deal with that by sending 2 Mindbenders here and here, which is pretty standard. Yeah, Imperius never accepted peace, so I didn't have to break peace with them. I got these knights just in case, and it turned out to be fortuitous. Now we're going to break peace with Yadek and Umaji. Umaji is easy to deal with because they don't have much. Yadek, we have Mindbenders. Don't forget about Aquafarms being good with windmills. Yeah, we break peace with both of them, of course. And then I think we break peace in 2 turns here. So I was tempted here, I guess we'll let it play out. I was tempted here to go um and convert the giant to try away, but it's better to convert the defender. You get the say a turn earlier. And since you broke peace with Kiku, you may as well just get the kill on them. There's not much point in waiting. We do this cute little bit of micro and finish off with the Dumux again. I love using Dumuxes when I'm not Samanti. We have a bunch of Mindbenders that are converting everything I got. I make sure to road a Mindbender to the capital to siege it as early as possible. And so now we convert. I pretty much guaranteed that I could convert them unless they moved in a nonsensical direction. But usually bots aren't that smart. And then I get my last 50 SPT or so by getting markets in this area. Okay, we'll skip. Zoom through it a little. We boxing this defender for fun, and we're going to break peace at the end of this, but we don't need to stress it. Yeah, I can see market here, mediocre market there, decent market here. We burn all those, and yeah, that gets us nearly 50 SPT. When all said and done. This is what all those knights were regathering for. Losing two of them is kind of rough, but we get the siege a turn earlier, so I think it's worth it. It allows me to get an upgrade turn earlier along with the star income that we get. So yeah, we go double sawmill here and we get plenty of upgrades on the city. I spent turn 16 through 18 getting as many as many temples as I could slip in. I think I forgot to mention that. And now here I'm just finishing off with as many upgrades as I can get for all the parks. Very straightforward stuff at this point. I maximize my upgrades here early. I recognized that I was going to want double monuments here, and I go ahead and put down one of my monuments over here too. Yeah, to get the upgrade because I'm going to put my last two monuments over here. So all in all, as we watch this finish up, the biggest mistakes I made were missing the embassy over here, which prevented Umaji from getting their Park of Fortune at the very least. They possibly could have got Killer as well. Okay, so if we go to Umaji, well, they're only 5 out of 10 on Killer, so maybe not, but they could have definitely got their Park of Fortune. That was probably the biggest mistake. I don't know that there were any other large mistakes. I missed some of the road connection, sure, to go back onto my capital. But besides that, I think this is close to optimal. I mean, I got third, so it is close to optimal. But I think getting the last, like, 1 to 2K out of this that you can get would involve Umaji getting more upgrades and maybe eking out another monument from one of the other tribes. Not sure where you would get that exactly, but that's what I did this week. We'll try it one more time on my Umaji account on in the stream tonight. So if you're interested in seeing how this goes with some slight improvements, go ahead and check out the stream later tonight. That will happen in about okay, sorry. That will happen in about 5 hours. boring half hours. So we'll see you guys there. And if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. That stuff really helps out the channel. And I appreciate all that you guys do. And we'll see you in just a few. Ciao.